Hello everyone, this is Reza Dorrani. In today's Power Apps video, we will explore how we can filter data from Microsoft Dataverse related to the columns choice. I will also show you how we can leverage a gallery to present the values of those choices to the users so that the users can select the values directly from the gallery and filter the data coming from Microsoft Dataverse. So let's get started with the video, but first, my introduction. My scenario here is a simple task management app, the data for which is coming from a Microsoft Dataverse table called work task. Now, as part of my table here, I will go ahead and create a couple of choice columns. One for maintaining the priority of my task and the other one for maintaining the status of my task. We will then connect to this table in Power Apps and then see how we can filter our table based on those choice columns. So to create a choice column, I will go to Add Column. I will call it Priority. Change the data type here to choice. And right here is where I need to define my choices. So I will select this and click on New Choice. The name of the choices that it is creating is also priority, which is the same as the name of my column. I will highly recommend you to keep this different from the name of the column so that we can have clarity as to which type we are referring to, the column or the choices in our Power Apps. So I would recommend here we add something like choices. So these are going to be my priority choices. So I will give 3 choices here: low, medium, and high. Once I'm done with defining my choices, I will click Save. Next, I will create a second column. I will call this my work task status. Choice column. Define my choices. Once again, I have changed the display name here for the choices to choices. And these are my choices that I have defined. I will click on Save, which will save the choices first. Then I will click Done. So I have my 2 columns that I created right here. And at the bottom, I will click on Save Table so that the 2 columns that I created get added to the schema of my work task table. Now, once I'm done with this, I will head over now to my Power App. In my Power App, I have a gallery that is showcasing all the information from that table called Work Tasks. I can select an in my gallery. So for example, item number 1008, build test cases. I select this. It takes me to a form. I can edit the form. Let's say I change the status of my work task here to completed. I click submit, go back to my home page. I have my build test cases work task status changed to completed. Now, for this gallery, how do we go about filtering data based on those choice columns? So to filter data, we will use the formula filter my data source, which is work tasks, where the column that I would like to filter on, and in my case, I would like to filter on my work task status column. This is where naming comes in extremely handy. My column is called work task status. IntelliSense will guide me through. So I'm going to select this is equal to. Now, if I was to hard code the text of the values in the choice column. So for example, one of my choices is completed. So if I pick completed, this will result in an error stating that there's an incompatible type. I'm trying to compare the value of the choice column here to a string called completed. So if you try and enter a string, or if you enter the value associated with that choice as a number here, you will run into this error. The correct way to filter on the choice columns is you got to pick the enum associated with the choices that you created for this specific column. And that's why naming once again is extremely important. This time I will select work task status choices. This was the display name of the choices that I created for this specific column. Now if I select this and place a dot after this, it will list out all the enum values, basically the choice values for this specific choices type. And right here now I can pick my values. So one of them was completed. I'm going to pick completed. And this now will filter my data coming from my work task table in Dataverse where the status is completed. If I would like to filter on a different value, once again, I just have to go and select that specific value. So if I would like to see all the in progress tasks, I'm going to filter on in progress. The same concept applies for any other choice column. I have another column called priority. And if I would like to filter on this column, once again, search for the choices display name created for that priority column. Dot, I have my options here, low, medium, high. So show me all my high priority tasks. And this now will filter my data where all my work tasks have the priority high. So now keeping this in mind, let's see how we can provide a drop-down or a combo box of options for the user to choose from rather than hard coding these values. I will head over to Insert, go to Input, add a drop-down. I will also add a label called the status. And for this drop-down control that I just added, I will first rename this to drop-down status and head over to Advanced and search for a property called Allow Empty Selection and set this to True. So what this does is initially the value in that drop-down will be empty, and then the user will have the option to go and select from the choices that we provide. Now to get the choices from that choice column, for this drop-down control, for the items property, I will use a formula called choices. And right here is where I need to define my column. My data source is the work task table dot what's my column. In this case, I need the status. My column was called work task status. Notice how IntelliSense is guiding me through. I'm going to select this, close the formula. If I preview my app now, notice initially the drop-down is empty, and right here I get all my choices that are coming directly from my backend choices data. Now, once the user makes a selection right here, let's say I select in progress, I would like the gallery to show all the tasks that are in progress. So for that, I will filter the gallery based on my work task table where the work task status column is equal to the drop-down control dot selected dot value. Now if I go ahead and preview my app, notice the status is in progress. I see all my tasks that are in progress. If I change this to completed, it will show me all the tasks that are completed. So right now it is showcasing the data based on the value in this drop-down control. Now what if I want to show all the tasks if the status column is empty? Now once I make a selection of the drop-down control, there is no way for me to go back and make this empty. So for that, I will add a button, and I've kept the text of this button as reset. On select of this button, I will call the reset function, and I will reset my drop-down control. Now if I preview my app and click reset, the drop-down control goes to empty. When the drop-down control is empty, my gallery is not showing any data. And the reason for that is the filter criteria that we've defined. Right now, the drop-down is empty and I do not have any task statuses that are empty. I want to show all the tasks if the drop-down value is blank. For that, we will add another condition here in filter, which is blank the dropdown, or my existing condition. So it's checking to see if the dropdown is blank. If it is, then this equates to true, which in my case, currently the dropdown is blank. So true or any other criteria is true. So filter my table, the logical test is true. That means get me all the data. Now if I preview the app, it's showcasing all the data. And if I was to select a specific status, so for example, show me all my tasks that are not started, it will go and apply that filter right here. Now I can create the same scenario with my other column as well of type choice, which was my priority column. And I've gone ahead and added another label called priority, another dropdown called dropdown priority, the items property for which is once again the same concept as before, choices of my table dot my choice column, which was priority. And in the reset function, I'm also resetting my second dropdown as well. Now for me to filter on both these columns, in my filter formula, I will add an additional case. So my first condition, I'm going to wrap this in brackets, and I'm going to add my second condition. And my second condition is exactly the same as the first. The only difference is this time I'm relating it to the priority column. So the priority dropdown is being filtered against the priority column. Now if I preview my app, it'll be a combination of both these filters working together. So for example, get me all the tasks that are not started and the priority is high. If I click reset, it'll show me all my tasks. If I just select one value from either of these dropdowns, for example, show me all my high priority items, this will list out all my high priority items. So this is how we can apply filters using the choice column. Now we can also provide the user with multiple choices here. So instead of using a dropdown, this time I will add a combo box control. And for the items property of the combo box control, once again, I will leverage choices of my table dot my column, which is my work task status. If I preview my app, the status combo box now shows me once again the choices, but this time I can make multiple selections. If I click on reset, I will reset my combo box control so that when the user selects this, the combo box becomes empty. Now, how do I filter on the choices and the combo box control, the multi selections that the user makes? So once again, for my gallery, I will apply the filter as follows. Filter my table where my work task status column in my combo box dot selected items. Now if I preview my app and as I start selecting values from the status column, so for example, not started, this will now show me all my tasks that are not started. Now I can additionally select multiple options. It's a combo box. So let's say I would like to see all my tasks that are not started or in progress. And there you go. It's applying both these options and showcasing all my tasks. If I click reset, my status becomes empty. How do I handle empty status? Similar concept as before. Is blank combo box dot selected items, or we're going to add one more condition because it's a combo box, is empty of combo box dot selected items or my original criteria. Now if I preview this app, my combo box is empty, I see all my tasks, and as I start selecting the statuses, it will start loading the values based on the status selected. Now another concept that I would like to cover is adding a visual indicator for the status in my gallery. Now let's say I would like to add some color to this label based on the value of the status. Well, for that, I can head over to the color property, and I have changed the formula for the color property as follows. Let me format the text. So I'm adding a switch case here against the value of the actual status of the item. If that value is in progress, and once again, to compare it to in progress, I'm using the reference of my choices column. If it is in progress, then I'm specifying a specific color. If it's deferred, I'm placing a different color, completed, and not started. Now, if I go ahead and preview my app, if I reset my filter, I can see all my statuses. So in progress is blue, completed is green, deferred is red, not started is gray. So you can add visual indicators to your choices in your gallery. And last but not the least, I will go ahead and add another gallery which will actually show the choice values to the user, and the user can select the value in the gallery to filter the data in our work task gallery. I will go ahead and insert a vertical gallery. Place the gallery on the left hand side. Change the layout here to just showcase the title. I don't need the icon here, so I'm going to remove this. Now the items property for this gallery, I will change this to, once again, that same formula, choices of my table dot my column, which is work task status. And for the label control, the text property would be this item dot value. So this will list out all those values. Now to highlight the selected value in this gallery, for the gallery control, there is a property called template fill. I will add the following formula. If this item dot is selected, then go ahead and put the color white, else go ahead and place the color gray. Another thing to give a more clear visual indicator as to what's selected, for my label control inside this gallery, for the font weight property, right now it's set to semi-bold. I will change this as follows. If the item is selected, then set the font weight to bold, else keep the font weight as lighter. Now if I preview my app, can clearly see that deferred is selected. Now I click here, completed is selected, and so on and so forth. Now I would like to filter this gallery based on the selected value in my new gallery that I just set up here. Filter my table, which is work tasks, where the column work task status is equal to the gallery status dot selected dot value. Now if I go ahead and preview my app, you will see I've selected in progress, so it's showing me all my in progress items. If I click completed, this will show me all my completed items, and so on and so forth. If I want to apply that same color visual indicator to this new gallery as well, I can apply that same formula. So for my label control, for the color property, I will add the formula that says switch on this item dot value, and once again, same concept as before. So if I preview my app, I even get my visual indicator here. So if I select deferred, deferred is bold now. So that's a visual cue. That's the selected filter, and the data is being filtered right here. If you would like to add an additional option here to select all items, for that, on the app on start, we can add the following formula. So I'm creating a collection here called call status, and the value for this collection is coming from that choices function again. If I was to run app on start, and if I go to view and go to collections, if I look at my collection of status, I have a column called value, and it has those 4 values right here. Now in here is where I want to push an option called all. So for that, what I have to do is right before this, I will write a formula called clear collect, call status, comma, and I need to give the value of the item, open the curly braces, value, colon, blank. So I'm putting a blank value in there. Now you might be wondering, why am I not putting the string all? Well, that's because the choices column, remember, is a special type of enum. The string all will not be accepted as part of that collection because the collection is created based on that type. So I'm just entering blank data here to reflect all. Now, once I run app on start, I have this collection loaded. So I will head over to my gallery of status and change the items property to that collection. And right here, now I see an extra empty value created. There is no text here. So for this label control, for the text property, I will add a simple formula. If the value is blank, I will put the text all. Else, I will put the original value of the item. So now, if I was to preview my app, I see all as an option. And if I start selecting the other options, it will start applying the filter. Now, in case of all, it's not applying any filter here. So we just need to handle this case in my main tasks gallery. And for that, once again, the condition is blank the selected value in my main gallery or my previous formula. So now if I go ahead and preview my app, all is selected, showing me all the statuses. If I select a specific status, it's going to apply that specific filter. If you enjoyed this video, then do like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching.